I'm in the back of the all-new electric vehicle from Kia, the EV6. I will be reviewing it this week for you guys. Where does Kia go from here? As I'm sitting in this electric vehicle, I've already done Honda and Acura. Where do those brands go from where we're at in 2022? So today, we're gonna look at Kia here in 2022, all the way up until 2025. Grab your snacks and drinks, and let's have some fun. It's not that often I can do a video in a mobile office like a car. I can use this vehicle like vehicle to load. So there's a little adapter in the back that plugs into the charger here, and then I can use that to power things outside of the vehicle. Anyways, what is Kia up to here in 2022? Make sure to take everything with a grain of salt to some extent, because just because Kia has said these vehicles are coming, we just don't know exactly when they're coming. I'm taking my best stab on these variants and new vehicles, redesigns, refreshes, and trying to put into perspective on when we should expect them. So here in 2022, this could very well be the last year of the Stinger. Can you believe that? The Stinger, an amazing rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive twin turbo V6 or turbo 4-cylinder. It is a phenomenal riding and driving sports car. Gotta love that lift back design on it, but it looks like Kia is getting rid of it because their new performance is going to be in the form of electric cars and the new GT lines, which we'll talk about in depth today as well. So rest in peace, Stinger. The writing's been on the wall. The rumors have been coming out of Korea for a while. Kia Rio, that could be on the axe for this year as well, the chopping block. Look, if you look at the Accent from Hyundai, the brother-sister vehicle to this, it was canceled this year. So, whoops. The cup holder back here is too small, but luckily it's somewhat adjustable, so I can just put it in the slidey portion of it. Anyways, but moving on for the Rio, which I think is going to fall by the wayside, but I'd be happy if it sticks around because we need cheap cars. Telluride, we just got a refresh here in 2022. The model looks worse than it did previously. So nice job, Kia, to ruin the looks of the Telluride. It doesn't look bad, but you made it look worse, and yikes. Anyways, the inside has been completely refreshed, new technology, very similar to this car that I'm sitting in. Kia Soul got a refresh. They also killed the turbo. We haven't had a manual in there for a while either. The Soul also is just it's not very appealing to me. The Seltos, though, is appealing, and it is getting a refresh by the end of this year. I think this refresh is already available in Korea. So the Seltos, in this super hyper competitive segment, the like subcompact crossover segment, this is where the manufacturers are pumping in a lot of money to make their product as good as possible. They can sell as many as possible. Seltos getting refreshed. Moving on to the EV6. Yes, I'm in this vehicle right now. It's brand new for 2022. The sister or brother vehicle to the Ioniq 5. If you haven't seen my Ioniq 5 driving impressions, this thing is essentially identical, but the interior and the exterior are like leagues apart between the Ioniq 5 and the EV6. I actually prefer how this looks on the outside, but I like the functionality on the inside of the Ioniq 5 more, especially with the panel roof. I don't have a panel roof option here, and this is nearly $60,000. Anyways, the Kia Niro got a refresh. It should be available by the end of this year. I just reviewed the outgoing model because it is getting redesigned, but it's still the same platform. Anyways, the outgoing Niro just did the plug-in hybrid of it, and I really liked it, but it was $38,000. I just don't know if it's worth that much money. I think recommending the standard Niro hybrid is probably a smarter choice for most people. The Sportage just got a redesign as well this year, and that vehicle looks incredible from the front. It's eye-catching. I don't know if it looks good. I still can't determine that, but it definitely is way better than the outgoing Sportage. My neighbor has like a generation or two old Sportage next door. They just never looked the part compared to its competition. Always looked a little bit granny to me. The new Sportage is super sleek, super aggressive. Now, as we look into 2023, I wanted to share some things with you guys about Kia's vision. So Kia wants to release 2 EVs a year as it completes a lineup of 14 electric vehicles by 2027. I'm not going to be going into 2026 or 2027. It is not clear in my crystal ball quite yet. There will be a dedicated EV pickup. So think, Hyundai Santa Cruz, but a Kia version. and we just don't know when that would be. Maybe 2025, 2024 at the absolute earliest. I just have no idea. Kia only has said it's coming out with an EV pickup. Kia says it's aiming for sales of 1.2 million EVs in 2030. That's globally. And it predicts 80% of its EV sales will come from Korea, China, Europe, and North America, with EVs representing a 45% share of Kia sales in those regions. Also, looking into the future, so it's probably 2025 afterwards, there will be a new architecture based on the eGMP, but it'll be the next generation. It'll be like almost eGMP 2.0. It's their electric vehicle platform that the EV6, GV60, and Ioniq 5 sit on, and this is called the Integrated Modular Architecture. This will also help standardize the battery systems and motors along with the chassis for future EVs. All that out of the way, let's get into 2023. And we could be seeing the EV6 GT trim fall into 2023. It could come out by the end of 2022, but this is like the 576 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, absolute like supercar slayer, at least in a straight line, right? It is going to be ridiculous. Who knows what it'll cost, 70, 75K. It's really hard to say. There's also going to be a Niro Plus. We might not see this vehicle here stateside. It's supposed to be kind of like a taxi or purpose-built vehicle for taxis or ride-hailing sort of thing. So don't expect that here stateside. But what I do expect stateside, by the end of 2023, second half anyways, we're going to have the EV9. This is the next EV model after the EV6. And this thing is a 3-row crossover for the families. I would be interested into something like this. We know the exterior looks pretty amazing. I think it looks a lot better than the Ioniq 7, which is going to be the brother vehicle to this. The exterior looks really cool, very prismatic, like cutting edge with all these geometric patterns and shapes and lines on it. The interior is pretty wild. This is going to be one large screen in theory, but for the production model, they could just have 2 separate screens like we have in the EV6. Like, look at this steering wheel. Do you think they're going to have this oval steering wheel in the production version? I highly doubt it, to be honest, but we'll see. It looks like we also don't have like traditional vents, but again, this is not a production version. We're looking at the concept. So it's supposed to have 300 miles of range. So it's going to have a bigger battery pack than what we have here. This is a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. So probably like 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, massive battery pack. More battery means more expensive. So this thing, if this costs nearly 60 grand, what is an EV9 going to cost? 70, 80 grand? And then, God, forget about talking about a GT version of it, which we will talk about. Now, we also have the K5 getting a refresh and the Sorento getting a refresh. Just reviewed this Sorento with my family. Make sure to watch that out, or check it out. It is a great 3-row crossover. Really interesting are those hybrids and plug-in hybrids. But yes, we'll get a refresh in 2023, probably for a 2024 model for the Sorento. Same thing with the K5. There are also rumors that the K5, this could be the last refresh. Same thing for the Sonata. So those vehicles could be refreshed, and then that's it, as they switch to EV sedans in the future. Kia and Hyundai, that is. So that rounds out 2023. EV6 GT, Niro Plus for select markets, EV9, battery electric vehicle, big 3-row crossover, and Kia K5 and Kia Sorento refreshes. Now, getting into 2024, I think that's when they could bring out the EV9 GT. So the EV9 normal, probably around 300 horse. If you get the all-wheel drive. Now, the EV6 is getting a GT with 576 horse. I don't see why they wouldn't at least give you the option of it in the EV9 3-row crossover. And I think it's also, since Kia says, hey, we're introducing 2 new EVs every single year, I think it's a possibility that we see an EV5 or an EV7, I don't know what they would call it, but a sedan electric vehicle. So I think that could easily come in 2024. We will also get a redesign of the Forte in 2024, but that could slip into 2025. They need to have hybrid versions of it, especially with the new Civic hybrid coming out by the end of next year. It's already available in Europe, by the way. It's the new Corolla hybrid that has just been updated. We're getting the new Prius as well by the end of this year, early next year. And then there's also, from its own heritage, is the Elantra hybrid. So I don't know why the Elantra has a hybrid. but the Forte doesn't. So Kia could really boost the Forte's fuel mileage appeal by giving it a nice hybrid option. Now in 2024, we're hearing that the Carnival will get a refresh. It was new for 2022 model year. Now, we need to have a Carnival hybrid or plug-in hybrid or both. Look, the Sorento has a hybrid and plug-in hybrid. Why can't we have that in a minivan? That's what I want more than anything. Get all my errands done on battery electric power, and then I need to run to Miami or need to run to Orlando for Disney or who knows, or Tampa for family. Like, I could do that with the gas engine on board, but mainly I'd be driving on electric mode, taking the kids to school, going to the grocery store, etc. So I'd only use gas a couple times a year essentially if I had a plug-in hybrid minivan, but we don't have that on the market, and I'm not buying a Chrysler. I think that kind of rounds out 2024. Going into 2025, I think that the Soul is either up for a redesign or it's going to get canceled. And I think it's going to get canceled, at least here for North America. That's just what my gut's telling me. I have nothing to go on by that. We're also going to have a new EV vehicle. It's a purpose-built vehicle, probably for light commercial. Kia already teased this. So they look like a bunch of like minivans for commercial purposes, delivery, little businesses inside. Maybe we get passenger versions of them. So don't really know what to think about that. It's almost too far in the future other than the concept images they've showed us. If we got the EV5 sedan electric vehicle in 2024, we could see a GT version of it in 2025. We will get a redesign of the Telluride, so that will be exciting, and that will be very interesting because Kia will have the EV9 on the market for a couple of years at that point, and they're coming out with a new Telluride redesign, gas powered, right? It would be nice to have hybrid power on the Telluride. That would really boost its desirability, and who knows what gas is going to cost in 2025. Seltos will get a redesign as well in 2025, and by 2025 we'll actually get a refresh on the vehicles that just came out this year. So we're going to get a refresh on the EV6, the vehicle I'm sitting in. We'll get a refresh in the Niro, and we'll get a refresh on the Sportage. And looking past that is just a little too murky for my crystal ball at this point in time, so I'm going to end it there. What are you most excited about for Kia? Can't wait to give you guys my driving impressions of this EV6. There are so many things I really like about it, and there are a lot of things that drive me a little bit crazy, but that's any car. It's not just specific to electric cars. But anyways, I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss my Hyundai. Where does Hyundai go from here? Where does Genesis? Where does the rest of the Japanese and Korean automakers? You don't want to miss that as I kind of preview the next 3 to 4 years of the roadmaps for these Asian automakers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. Like I said, subscribe. Catch you in the next one. I need to get out of here. I kept the AC really low for this video because I didn't want to drain the battery. And yeah, Kia doesn't put a 120 volt charger for this vehicle, even though it's $60K. They don't include it. Ioniq 5 had it. The much cheaper Niro plug-in hybrid. Anyways, I need to cut myself off. Catch you in the next video. Peace out.